Whoa. Alright, making a video, I think. Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway, economics channel. Yeah, I just wanted to emphasize a point that I guess not enough people are making, so I'll make it. Is that all value in the economy is made out of work or inconvenience, labor of some kind. That's what makes what you buy, I mean, worth something. It's the fact that somebody has to go to the trouble to make something valuable. Um, I mean, it's like 99% of the equation. Very rarely do you just walk around and find value just sitting on the ground. Yeah, now and then somebody will find a diamond walking on the beach, but it just doesn't happen that often. Um, and so, some people think that it's all about demand and what people demand. Well, of course it is. People demand things that equate to their comfort. And so there's commodities like diamonds that don't really have a lot of practical use, but they're valuable to human beings, and so they're a kind of currency, and that's all they are. So they're kind of like just finding money. Gold, precious metals, most of those can be put in the same category. But what gives value to that stuff is the fact that it can be exchanged for labor, and that's really what it's all about in the end, is labor. And so there's in the world we exist in now, all debt, which is value, is basically a claim on future labor. And so what we've basically, the problem that's been created is that people have acquired a claim to an entitlement to your labor, let's say. In the terms of national debt, that would be a claim on any citizen's labor in the future. And they've acquired that claim based on possession or ownership, generally speaking. Um, and they've basically had surplus that they've invested in the future. So they've had some sort of value that is made of labor, presumably, like a silo of wheat is a good example, because it took labor to put the wheat in that silo, and so it's basically a storage of, yes, it's food, but what gives the food value is the fact that it takes a lot of labor to pull it out of the field and make it consumable, or readily processable. Getting too technical here. Is really the point is that it's all about labor, and the fact that we have now extended, we have claims on labor that go way in excess of what the world can currently produce. And so there's this claim on all this future labor, and effectively the claims on future labor have just gone too far into the future. There's no practical way the average person can pay the amount of productivity they're required to produce. So those debts can't be paid. Those labor debts can't be paid because the people can't produce the value, especially in a world where labor is getting cheaper because of high density population in countries with no standard that obliges labor to be well compensated. So as wages go down, the value of labor goes down. More labor, you have to do more work to get the same value back, or the same entitlement to work back, in a sense. So that's all we're really exchanging. And the bottom line is all exchanges, all transactions are a transaction over labor, over your inconvenience, your time, your risk, your willingness to produce for somebody else, generally speaking. That's what you're transacting. And currencies are sort of irrelevant to all of this. They don't make, they don't change the equation any. Obviously, they're claims, they're tickets saying somebody's owed something. But in most cases, those claims were sort of transacted in a, although it's dishonest in terms of the fact that a lot of this debt was created without any intention to pay it back, which nobody would agree to. I mean, even realistically, you wouldn't want to have a credit card that when you buy something on the credit card that you'll never pay the principal back and that you'll pay interest forever. Because that would be insane. Because you would pay hundreds of times the value of whatever you're buying. So if you're buying a $10 item, but you never pay it back, you never pay the principal back, you're going to end up paying hundreds, thousands of dollars for the $10 item over time. And that's when life becomes a rental. And that's the problem is we basically have rented life from people who have huge stores of claims. And this whole the whole thing starts because somebody needs to initiate work. I'll go back real quick to the analogy, but if you're two people and you're exchanging your work value, there's always the problem of who goes first. If I say I'm going to help you build your house and then you're going to help me build my house, well, if I build your house first, I'm risking that you'll drop dead and then you won't show up to help me build my house, and so I'll lose in the transaction. And so where all this investment capital comes in is that it's the impetus to pay that initial person, to say, well, here's a guaranteed contract. So when you go to build the house, you get a guaranteed contract. You get compensation that has value. And somebody has to produce that upfront money to pay you to do the work so that you have a guaranteed contract. But they're demanding interest for doing that. And the sensible thing to do is replace those profiteers, those people demanding a profit on the exchange, with a mechanism that doesn't demand a profit, that guarantees the contracts without extracting interest. So a mechanism that would allow for productive investment without extracting a profit. And then we've also broken the system and made it hugely advantageous to the rich by creating bankruptcy, which allows the rich to, they can inherit the benefits, the profits of risk taking, but they don't effectively inherit the downside, the bankruptcies. There's no legacy bankruptcy. There's legacy wealth, but no legacy bankruptcy. So the bankruptcy ends up being paid by the consumer through the cost of doing business. Or taxation directly, or bailouts, or all these other like corporations. Corporations, somehow all of a sudden nobody's responsible. So if you create a bunch of toxic waste, it's the state's problem to clean it up. There's no corporation. The corporation says, no, we don't have the money. Well, no, then go after the shareholders. They're the corporation. But the system we have allows stocks to lose all their value, but it doesn't allow you to be liable for the irresponsibility of the companies you invest in. So a company like an Enron can steal money. A lot of people in the stock market make money. Some people lose their investment, but nobody's held liable for the mess made, the negative liability. And at minimum, all the price of bankruptcy should come out of an inheritance tax. The people benefiting from this risk-taking bullshit game should be obliged to pay the freight for it, which is bankruptcy. That's the net. They should be paying for the net. So anyway, yeah, this just isn't that complicated. And so that's it. That's enough for this. That's enough for today. Try again another day, and then another day, and then another day, and then the world's gonna blow up. So anyway, till next time. And such. I mean, I hit the button. I heard it go beep.